In an effort to protect domestic manufacturing and make America great again, former President Donald Trump's 25% tariff on imported auto parts is being seen as a double-edged sword, not only causing car prices to skyrocket but also putting thousands of American workers at risk of unemployment, creating unpredictable ripple effects across the entire economy. Consumers pay the first price when a 25% tariff is imposed on imported auto parts. The cost of each U.S.-made car immediately increases by $2,000 to $5,000, depending on the proportion of imported components in each model. According to estimates from the Center for Automotive Research, Ford alone, one of the largest automakers in the U.S., will be directly affected as most of its models depend on the global supply. The middle class, Ford's core customer group, will be the most heavily affected. With the new higher prices, many Americans may be forced to delay their purchases or turn to cheaper imported brands from Asia. In an economy that is slowly recovering from the pandemic and is affected by inflation, the decision to buy a car has never been more difficult. Falling sales, evaporating jobs. The scenario of rising car prices leading to a decrease in purchasing power is a predictable one, but the consequences do not stop there. Once sales plummet, factories will be forced to cut production to optimize costs. In a worst case, many factories may be closed completely, leading to a series of social and economic consequences. Ford CEO Jim Farley has warned that thousands of jobs could be lost if this tariff policy continues. He stressed that plants in traditional auto-producing states like Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee and Kentucky, where more than 100,000 Ford workers are employed, are at greatest risk. These areas are not only important manufacturing hubs but also pillars of local economies, where each lost job can shake the lives of entire communities. Rising costs, declining competitiveness. While Ford and many other US automakers are struggling to cope with rising production costs, international competitors, especially from China, are taking advantage of the opportunity to expand their market share. BYD, China's leading electric vehicle manufacturer, is set to surpass Tesla in global sales by 2024, with revenue of more than $85 billion. In addition to its technological prowess, BYD also has a superior advantage in terms of cost and production efficiency, thanks to a strong domestic supply chain and a global strategy. While American automakers struggle with tariffs, BYD and other Asian brands are penetrating the U.S. market with high-quality, affordable electric vehicles. Early, the imposition of tariffs has not made foreign cars less attractive as expected. On the contrary, it has made domestic manufacturers less competitive in their home market. Losses beyond the auto industry. The impact of tariff policies is not limited to the auto industry. International trade experts predict that the total damage from the trade war could reach $1 trillion, considering different areas such as manufacturing, logistics, consumption and international supply chains. Another typical example is John Deere, one of America's industrial icons with the slogan "Nothing runs like a deer." But now, that deer is running south. John Deere has moved many production lines from Iowa to Mexico, leading to hundreds of job losses in the U.S. The reason is still that domestic production costs are pushed up too high by tariffs and input costs, forcing businesses to low for cheap nuclear bomb called tariffs. Although Donald Trump once asserted that the 25% tax rate would save the U.S. economy from unfair competition from China and other countries, reality is proving the opposite. A policy that was expected to be protectionist is becoming a huge burden for American businesses, workers and if the next administration fails to adjust its policies, America could see a mass exodus of major corporate ions from the domestic market, a job crisis in key industries, and a generation of Americans without access to the product that once symbolized the American dream. The American-made policy cannot be based on slogans alone. When bad economic decisions are made, the consequences are measured not just in numbers, but in families who have lost income, communities who have lost trust, and entire industries that are at a crossroads.